딸기
Cross.
Hi, my name is Anna and I'm a singer.
Hi, my name is Peyton and I am a dancer.
And today, what are we doing today?
Today, we are back with episode 3, the final episode of our Victon mini-series, where we're catching up on their title tracks.
So today we will be watching the last of their title tracks that we have yet to see. So first we will be watching Time of Sorrow, which came out in 2018, 5월에. And then the second one we'll be watching is Nostalgic Night, 그리운 밤, which came out in 2019. Apparently these are sad, angsty songs and everyone's been saying Peyton will really like them. So let's go! Yeah, it's angsty. They're students. Oh, that's a pretty shot.
That reminded me of something.
인생이란 선택의 연속이래 사랑이란 믿음 배려 용서 이해
Yes. Sorry.
내 모습이 제 숨길 테니 시든 고송이 돼 yeah 가끔 지나간 계절처럼 다시 돌아오길 바래 어깨 넘어 듣게 되는 소식에 네가 부러워 흘린 눈물만큼 네 행복을 빌고 또 다시 볼 수 없을 것만 같던 우리의 이별도
They feel so much older in this one than the last one.
Even though they're wearing high school outfits.
I know, but like, I'm starting to see more of what they look like now, you know? Or like the feeling.
The filter over the whole thing, since it's supposed to be like a memory. At first I was
It's a little
video not loading properly because it was like blurry.
And the tones are kind of like muted. I really like that scene. Oh.
I'm gonna have so much fun analyzing this.
Oh no, I had a feeling. With the way they're dancing, yeah.
Also the music video shots. Oh.
What kind of flower is that?
I think I know, but let me double check. So, I'm gonna start with talking about the music video today. First, the individual shots. There's a contrast between the individual shots and like the memory shots, where the individual shots are a little bit more in focus, so it's like the present time, and then they're thinking back on the past, like the school shots where everything's a little bit blurry. So that's pretty obvious. But then I just thought that the shots themselves were interesting because they're very isolating. Like Subin is in the telephone booth. It's not just that he's alone, it's that he's like stuck in somewhere. So it's just like not just that like, oh, I'm in the present now, but also I'm kind of stuck by myself. And when you take into consideration like what the song and like the lyrics are about, that makes a lot of sense, because when you're grieving something or when you're like feeling a loss, you feel like you're the only person that understands it, and like you are isolated from making new memories, other people, that sort of thing. Also, the flower theme. So first I will say it is a lily. It's usually a funeral flower, or like kind of symbolizes death, the end of something. It's like given in comfort. There's just some really interesting symbolism there because they show a couple of different sorts of flowers, some that are still growing and others that have been cut. Flowers are very beautiful and they're very lovely, but also they will eventually die, like they have a life cycle. Then they will also eventually bloom again when spring comes. And so basically the life cycle of the flower is directly represented in the lyrics and like in what they're talking about. And also is something that's usually used as symbolism when you're trying to help someone get over grief. That's sort of like, yes, you're feeling it now, something had to come to an end, however, like there will be a new season. That sort of imagery, those words are used a lot. And then like I said, the flowers in the dance too. Like it's in the formation. It's in like where they're all together and they're opening out, or where they melt together like a flower that's withering at certain parts. It's in the arms with the falling flowers, with the hands, that sort of thing. But my biggest comment about the dance is that overall it just really represents that feeling of longing and loss very well. Oftentimes people say like grief comes in waves, where you'll be fine one second and then you'll be like completely overcome by it in the next. And I thought that was pretty interesting in the way they'd done that. And I'll use one specific like movement as an example. So there's a lot of reaching in the dance. They're reaching for a memory, they're reaching for a person. Sometimes it's really aggressive, like they're trying not to let something go, they're trying not to let something slip through their fingers, hold on to it. Like that would be in those moments where you're really overcome by that grief, and it feels very aggressive, which almost doesn't fit with like the image that I have of the song in my mind, but it works because of the meaning. But then a lot of times the dance is very floaty, kind of like that hazy feeling of someone that is going through a loss, where you're kind of disconnected from reality, and it has that sort of feeling of being in a memory and like it's there and you're kind of reaching, but it's like the memory has faded, so you can't really hold on to it yet. So I thought that was really interesting, the way that it was the same feeling was being represented in two ways. Okay, Anna's turn.
Hello, it's my turn for comments, and literally the first thing that I wrote down was, yeah, it's sad. Not just in the music video and like the dance, all the symbolism and that, but musically as well. Just like everything in the song has a lot of reverb on it, but also especially there would be these little ornaments in the background, like a little synth line or something playing once, and then it would reverb, like linger in the air and sort of fade out. And that makes me think of like, oh, lingering memories as it's like fading away. Another thing that I thought was interesting was the really distorted bass that you hear, because it is extremely distorted, but it's just sliding between the chord changes. And it's a very milked out slide. So you hear all the pitches in between. It's not just like dong, dong. It's like a dong. The way I interpreted it was like it's really sort of sluggish, like I'm dragging my feet, I like don't really have the energy to move on or go on. And actually when the chord progression of the song, it only goes between two chords back and forth the whole time, and then like occasionally like the end of a section there's one more chord that's thrown in there. So it's really just like 3 chords throughout the entire song. Even on their voices too, there's a lot of reverb. But also, at least for the singing parts, there's no real like strong, hard ending consonants. If the syllable or phrase does end on a consonant, you can like barely hear it. It's barely there for the most part. Which is another one of those things where it's like, you don't want it to come to a close, or it's sort of lingering, and also just like a harsh ending consonant would sort of break the emotional feeling that's being felt. Last thing that I really wanted to talk about was the oohs that happened in the chorus. For one thing, the fact that they chose an ooh vowel to sing it on. Other common vowels that are sung are ahs or ohs in songs, not for this one, but just like in other songs, an ah or an o. And those are more open, and those also like can feel more brighter, but the oo is a little like closed off, which is really adding to that whole like closed off, I'm closed off, my body is closed off contemplative feeling that they're, and like feeling alone. Wow, you're closed off, feeling alone because you're going through grief. But then also every single time the ooze happened, a different line was paired with it. So like the first time that the ooze happened, it's Sejun and Sungshik, I think, are singing. So like it's a oo vocal line, oo vocal line. And then the second time that the ooze happened in the second chorus, Hanse is rapping over it. And then the last time that the ooze happened in the final chorus, it's this sort of like outro thing happening. That was something that I found real interesting, like in terms of song structure too, because it's like the recurring theme, but like a twist to it. So yeah, that's all I really had to say for this one. It's just very sad. But yeah. Next.
For the last video that we'll be watching for this mini-series, it is Nostalgic Night, Karium Pam. It is going to be just 6 members this time, however, because this was released while Han Sung-il was promoting with X1. And this is also the song that they got their very first win ever with.
What if it was Kuryun Chestnut?
Instead of Nostalgic Night, Nostalgic Chestnut.
I hope Hachan appreciates that. Okay, let's go.
Alright.
What is he saying?
It's kind of blurry.
I can't.
on my phone,
I
yeah.
can't.
어디를 걸어도 전부 네 흔적뿐일까 왜 내가 듣는 노래는 다 우리의 기쁨일까 yeah. 시간을 되돌릴 수 있다면
What is the pill? Oh, that's really dramatic.
I know. They're partnering in this.
Oh. What?
What?
What happened? Oh? Why did it suddenly get like...
Wait, what?
I don't know. It's gonna get sad again, isn't it? Oh.
Flowers. See, flowers. There's a new beginning too.
It just makes them disappear. I still don't understand what's happening though. Oh. I really like the perk. Oh. That's how it ends?
That's how it ended?
Wow.
To no one's surprise, this is super dramatic. So obviously I enjoyed it. Honestly, the fires and stuff, I was still a little bit, like, I read the lyrics and like I understand what the song is about, but I'm still kind of like, and the world is on fire? Okay. But it's for the drama, everybody. So like, we're here for the drama. I'm here for the drama. Anna's not really here for the drama. Like, the lyrics are sending this message of kind of desperately trying to prove like I should have been better. Looking back, how could I have done that? And like, that's completely conveyed through the dance. Like, the dance has a lot of heads thrown back, especially where there's a couple of interesting moments where they're passing through each other. Like, two lines will pass through, and the line that comes forward almost like trips forward and throws their body back and then like catches themselves, like they're trying to recover from something. There's a lot of like circling their bodies around, and it's sort of just this, like, when you imagine emotions that are kind of very heightened and being flung around, that's what their bodies are. Yeah, exactly, like what Anna's doing. That's what their body but that's what their bodies are conveying, like that sort of emotion, that desperation. Again, there's a lot of grabbing moments, but rather than the grabbing moments in Time of Sorrow, where it was kind of like grabbing for a memory, like trying not to lose something, this feels like if someone was walking away from you and you were like running after them to grab them. Like, it's a lot more desperate. It's not as longing. It's cool to see in like one after another them convey different emotions through similar movements, to be honest. To sort of mimic that idea in the dance of like, I want to be with you, I would lay with you, like I miss you, that sort of thing. There are a few partner moments. It's not the partner dancing that I was imagining, but there was one that really stuck out to me, and it was in the music video too. It's while Seungshik is singing and they're in a diagonal line. One member leans backward on another member, and it's right when they're talking about like, I would support you, like I would be more supportive for you now, like I've learned my lesson, that sort of thing. It's done sort of gently, like you're making sure someone's safe, and so that really stuck out to me. But also, I really just want to talk about how awesome Ho-chan is in this dance. Obviously, I know that Chan is a dancer, like I know that he's fantastic, but when I was watching the dance practice, I was captivated. Like, I had to go back and rewatch it and remind myself not just to watch Chan and to like watch it for like analysis and like big picture. He was really dancing with like his whole soul and without abandon, and like using every part of his body, and it was just breathtaking. And I was like, oh, that was really loud, but I was like, yes, Chan, yes! I will say, I was kind of hoping that I would feel less frustrated by the end of the dance, because when the song ended, Anna and I were both like, this is how it's ending, but then the dance didn't really fix it for me. It's, again, it's sort of like that not quite finished what I wanted to say, and it just like, they let their hand fall down and I just needed them to finish it. But despite that, I still really enjoyed watching it. So, Anna's turn.
Let's start with the intro theme of the song. The beat is divided right off the bat. It's emphasizing eighth notes, and then it doesn't for the pre-chorus. And then back in the chorus it starts again, which I thought was really interesting, since this is a more like emotional, sort of sad song. It's called Nostalgic Night. But the second half of the chorus really caught us off guard, because the synths are very bright. It was kind of shocking after like the rest of the song has been so like more emotional. And then all of a sudden I was like, I feel like I need to be bopping. But anyways, one thing that happens between the first half and second half of the chorus is this like sort of techno sounding synth line. It's a descending line that you hear, and it sort of signifies the transition in between those. And that line also happens from the verses into the pre-chorus. And I think that's interesting because it's like signifying the transition, but I actually think I prefer it when it happens like into the pre-chorus. The end of the verse into the pre-chorus, they like overlap, which is kind of cool, instead of like having a little bit of space. And then on top of that is the descending techno synth line. But also, that descending line, the end of it is emphasized with like a bass drum hit. And I really like that bass drum in the song. It's so dramatic and like echoes, it rings out. The pre-chorus also has one of my favorite parts in it, towards the end of the pre-chorus, where it's just the repeated palms, It's just something about the way that it's being enunciated that I really like the ending M into the next B sound and the way it closes to the M. And also, speaking of the word pum, it's pronounced differently throughout the song. Like the ah sound is pronounced different. There's like a brighter like ah, there's also an ah, depending on what section of the song it's in. Lots of breath sounds in specific moments. Not like breathy singing, but like the like inhale, exhale of breath at the beginning or end of a line. We've talked about before how like that usually is used for more emotional songs, but also it can be edited out of a song and like production mixing. The breath sounds were very intentionally, in my opinion, intentionally left in only for the pre-chorus. And the pre-chorus is the most like dramatic, emotional part of the song. Not that it's funny, but it is like a little funny, but also like makes sense. Last thing I'm going to say is the ending. The ending is them singing the first few lines of the pre-chorus again. They should be saying one more pum and ending the phrase. They end on only the first half of a phrase, whereas the second half of the phrase, the song doesn't resolve. And like you don't even hear the final like resolving chord. And like I can get it for like an interpretation, like the lingering, it's open-ended, but I like when things have a resolution. It's not even implying resolution. Anyways. Alright, I'm done now.
TLDR for this video is, as of now, we are officially caught up on all Victon title tracks. Our new Alice hearts are very happy. Now we can freely watch anything that we want. And we're so happy. But also, these two songs were definitely a newer side of Victon compared to the first four that we had watched, and definitely a lot more familiar to us having started our Victon journey with Howling. The people were not wrong. I did enjoy these songs. They were very dramatic.
But that being said, we hope you've enjoyed this little Victon miniseries catch-up that we've done. Hopefully you enjoyed this final episode of it. So if you did, then please leave a like, comment, subscribe,
Ding!
turn on your notification bell, and bye!